My name is Alex Kaufman, and I was selected for the UNDP ExpRes Roster list. You could say the midpoint in my career, I got more interested in environmental issues. I went back and did a PhD locally in Thailand, and I studied what was going on with the organic agriculture network, specifically rice farmers in Thailand. And, I found that very interesting. And I was also, concerned about global food systems and manufacturing processes and value chain approaches in agriculture. I kind of, you could say, to some degree, left my business behind and started doing freelance consulting on some USAID projects, all to do with sustainable value chains. And I think I was on the list probably a little less than a year when this opportunity arose. My main counterpart in supporting the program and moving forward was Getish Tekel. He was the program manager from the Ethiopia office. We were working on ESG implementation in various industries. I was selected for the agro-processing sector, and two organizations or two enterprises were selected for me to provide them with support. This was everything from helping them to build basic human resource policies to really focus on ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance aspects, in not only their supply chains, but in terms of how they manage their organizations. And it was an extremely interesting experience because these companies were very new to ESG. And, it was somewhere, I could say developmentally, you were looking at where Thailand perhaps in the garment industry was, 15 to 20 years ago. So it was really about not just building the systems, but also helping to familiarize them with these various aspects, and also how ESG was being utilized globally, to support good business practices. So they were starting to feel some pressure from some of their buyers in terms of, how did they manage ESG in their workplaces, and what kind of standards, payment systems, were going on. Did they have strong occupational health and safety systems, and of course, how were they dealing with the pandemic as well in the workplace. And I conducted training programs to familiarize their staff with these different aspects. I worked with two agro-processors, both equally interesting. One was a cereal factory that provided actually emergency nutritional supplements and foods for some of the aid programs that are going on in Ethiopia at this time. I think I also, helped to provide a kind of fresh eyes on their business for them, to kind of see some slightly different ways they might introduce modern management principles into their operations. I was interested in, receiving the UN title and putting that, onto my CV along with, other accomplishments in my career. But I felt that it was one thing that was different is that, I was much more in a capacity building arena this time. I wasn't doing inspections. I wasn't doing auditing. I was working, I felt even though the time was limited, I felt like I was a member of their teams. And I really enjoyed, building friendships within these companies, to learn not only about, how they ran their businesses, but, the challenges they face as being citizens of Ethiopia, and, learning about their families and their eating habits, and, the way they went about their daily lives. I found it extremely interesting. There were a lot of national holidays during my assignment. So I was able to go out and visit different parts of the country and meet people from different regions. And the music and the dancing was just incredible there. So, I did partake in some nightlife and, listening to live shows. And, they just have an incredible enthusiasm for life. It kind of reminded me a little bit about the time I spent in Brazil. Well, I would say that if you are interested in joining the ExpRes Roster and you come from the private sector, you need to be, let's say, willing to accept a slightly different pace. I think particularly on the African continent and, probably, in Thailand where I live, things move a little bit more slowly. You need to learn to be a little bit more flexible about your schedules, maybe lower your immediate goals and, kind of think long-term in terms of your assignments. I felt very safe, conducting my assignments and, sometimes I think, how can I say, how the media portrays life in these countries is not always the same as in actuality. I'm looking forward to my next assignment, provided that, I have the skills to fulfill, the goals or the, ultimate objectives of that particular project or program.